Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never role-played before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Great Wizard Bukake, your host. Our heroes are finally hitting the road. Butthole won over their squad of hammerers by teaching them how to be blackmail-proof. Gartok spoke so eloquently about therapy he declared himself a public speaker, and Quinny only mildly alienated the group of soldiers. What will happen after our heroes see Captain Planteer in the sky? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
You have a night in a glamping tent. Having just seen Captain Planteer fly over a dark moonlit night sky off on some adventure, unbeknownst to you, the three of you turn in for the evening in Reginald's glamping tent, which is fancy as fuck on the inside.
Thanks, not Pete. Just to throw that out there.
Yeah. Shout out, Pete. Wherever you are, Ravenloft. So I'm happy to jump to the next morning, but I also didn't want to deprive you of sort of an evening if the three of you want to do anything or talk about anything, given that it has been a while since you've been alone together in not a castle without the weight of state upon you. Obviously, you have more travel ahead, so there'll be plenty of road talk time, but knowing that that is a public space and this is a private space, I wanted to make sure we left some room for that.
Juniper's going to sleep.
Okay. I thought you were about to drop something.
Nah.
Laura,
Sorry, I mean Gartok. Gartok is going to sleep.
Still
Right,
Gartok.
okay.
Good to know.
He doesn't have,
good to know.
Good
doesn't have
to
to
know.
change.
No, absolutely not. But it's just good for me to remember.
Yeah, I was definitely going to be thinking about engaging with Juniper, but Gartok.
Gartok can wield a sword just as well as Juniper can.
Yeah. Butthole doesn't have much to say to Gartok because Annan's instructions were not, go talk to the goblin who doesn't know who he is. It was like, connect with your friends. He's like, I don't know who that person is. Also, I don't want to throw them off. I don't need an inspirational speech right now. Like Gartok's got a cleared path right now, and I'm excited for Gartok to be going on it.
You're just someone having a quiet moment on a park bench and someone shows up and just starts reading Eat, Pray, Love at you.
Yeah, it's like Tony Robbins is sitting next to me, and I'm like, I don't want to talk to this guy. But I have been told I need to connect with my friends, and I've been outside, and now I'm realizing as Butthole wanted to be able to pace around the camp and stare at things in the dark and just have those breathers. Crendon made him the king on this trip, where now he has to do emotional labor for every soldier that's present outside, which means he knows they are randomly going to approach him, which is honestly would normally be fine, because if they randomly want to talk to him, that's great. He can help people lead a better life. But he's still on this fucking mission as a fucking king, and now he has no escape. And inside the tent, he just has two friends who keep asking him about his mental health. So now he's like, have a fun vacation, doing emotional labor. And it's just different.
Yeah.
So he can't leave, but he's determined to try to have at least one conversation, because he was determined to come up with a question that he could ask his friends to just be like a friend. And it's different talking to friends than it is doing emotional labor for employees. You want to become people who you may also end up with worshiping you as a god. There's a lot there. Well, Quinny's never going to worship him as a god. That's pretty comfortable in its own way. So he sits down and he's just like, so Quinny, I had a question for you that we haven't really had a chance to talk about, because we've been busy saving thousands of lives and then the world.
Yeah.
What's it like being a dad?
Quinny's unpacking and setting up a bedroll kind of thing, onto what I think would be an empty glamping tent bed frame kind of thing, just taking things out of the glamping tent linen closet and just trying to set up his sleeping space. He's just busying himself while he talks. He pauses and what's it like being a dad? I don't really know. I haven't been a dad for very long. But my daughter's already a teenager.
Yeah, but you that's.
Well, I've been a dad her entire life. I just didn't know I was a dad.
Yes,
until
I
very
guess
recently,
retroactively. But you became a dad. You seem to have embraced it. It's not like you were wasn't a dad the whole time. Hard pass. You leaned in.
I wasn't going to be a dick to this kid. No.
So would you describe being a dad as just not being a dick to a kid?
I think some dads are dicks to their kids. My style was to not do that. My dad, wasn't a dick to me either. I know maybe you had a different experience.
Yeah. there are a lot of daddy styles out there, and mine was bad.
Yeah. Are you thinking about becoming a dad?
Innately, I have to because I'm the king of the kingdom now. So you kind of are supposed to have
gross,
heirs,
dude. Like, do you want that for yourself?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you how being a dad works.
How it works?
I don't know. How does it feel? What are you doing?
I can tell you how it feels. I don't know how it works. I don't think my dad knows how it works. You just like seem to just kind of do what you can for this little person who is supposed to depend on you, and I really kind of let her down in that way. My parents, took care of me and raised me. And, I thanked them by leaving because farm life was boring and I wanted more.
Okay. So you having a kid, or like being a dad and having a son or daughter or like a person, that's all good. So that's sort of like the relationship that we have, because you're a little person who I do the best for, and then you kind of depend on me.
Butthole, you're my friend, you're my king, you're my god. You want to be my dad now too?
I don't know. I'm just saying it seems like there's a little bit of that here, maybe, based on your description. I could be wrong.
You could be.
Well, what do you think it is? What am I wrong about?
I think what are you wrong about? God, I don't.
Yeah, what part of this is not a dad thing? So maybe I need to know what's not a dad, because it seems like this matched all the things you said were a dad.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily just then mean that you're a person's dad, because think about how many smaller than you people you would want to take care of.
I mean,
you're a tall guy. How many people's dad are you going to be? Because then do you actually even need to make an heir? Apparently, like I'm your heir now?
I mean, no, because we established that when I died, you were bad at it, so you didn't want it anymore, so you can't be my heir.
I can't do it. I know that about myself, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm kind of the father to a nation now, realistically, because most of them are shorter than me.
Yeah, all right, take your pick then, if this is how you want to think about it.
No, but that's not how usually the law works. I guess our laws don't make sense. I don't know.
So why are you asking me this stuff?
Ann told me that I should talk to my friends about things and ask them questions. So I thought about stuff I didn't know about you that we hadn't talked about. And then it was like being a dad. But you seem to be kind of like not a dad based on this conversation in your own feelings.
I don't think I'm a good dad. I'm trying to be.
I didn't say, how are you being a good dad? It seems like you're putting a lot of judgment on yourself, buddy.
Yeah, probably. But, like it's a weird way to find out that you're a father of a teenager, meeting her and then finding out, oh, this person is related to me.
Yeah, it's that's got to be a ride.
A little bit.
It's kind of like an accidental adoption. Like you meet a teenager and then you're like, oops, it's my kid now. I mean, not that that's what you did actively, but it's kind of how it played out for you.
Yeah. So
also, you realize you're not a bad dad if the kid's mom didn't tell you there was a kid.
The kid's mom died. Her other mom didn't tell me because everyone, sure, I don't know about everyone. She hated me.
Well,
she hated me when we were like growing up?
Quinny, there had to be a mom who didn't tell you that she was pregnant or had a kid for her to die. So there's an active not telling that's involved in this, which means you can't be mad at yourself for not being there.
There was a leaving though, too.
Did you know?
No.
Uh-huh. So why does that make you a bad guy, buddy? That's fucking crazy. That's not a choice you made. That's a choice somebody else made.
I don't think
you're blaming yourself.
I don't think I'm a bad guy.
You said you're a bad dad because you weren't
dad,
there.
Not a guy.
No, but that doesn't make you a bad dad if you didn't know. Step outside of your complete refusal to agree with me on anything, just for the sake of this 30 seconds.
Okay. Quinny says performatively.
Roll a performance check or deception check, I guess.
He's just like, agree with me. He's like, okay. Deception, you say?
Yeah.
25.
All right. Seems like you're willing to listen, which is nice. Wait, would I roll an insight for that, Tom, or perception?
Perception, I think. Although, if you're reaching out with your god powers, but I think you're just in casual conversation, so.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. You can't be a bad person for not knowing a thing that someone else is actively not telling you. If I went on vacation or like broke up with my boyfriend or girlfriend or person and then just like took off And then they were like, well, I'm pregnant, but I didn't tell him. And then I found out like 10 years later. I can't be like, I'm a shitty dad for not being there for 10 years because they actively didn't tell me what was happening. And they didn't like send a letter. There's a lot of magical ways to send messages. Thaumaturgical cell phone, letter, raven, owl. There's a lot of birds.
Just
We're
start
not going to go
naming
for
birds,
birds.
butthole.
You could send a dog. You could negotiate with a person to deliver a message. That's quite popular. Like there are magical spells that let you send things back and forth. There are so many ways to send a message to people. And it would have found you. You got kind of famous.
Yeah, okay. They named the town after me and shit like that.
Yeah.
So you're right. I agree with you.
Oh, great.
However,
Oh.
finding out, over a dozen years after the fact,
Yep.
feels bad.
Oh, I'm not
And
saying
you
this is going
have,
to be fun.
well, let me finish. You have regrets about time that you didn't know that you missed. And one way to kind of figure out like where you want to be with that, starting at like a disadvantage of like lost time and a relationship that basically doesn't exist, is to say like, that's not where I want to be. I'm in bad dad zone right now. I want to be better. I can't be better without acknowledging that I'm a step behind. So I think I'm a bad dad for now, and I'm trying to do better. Does that make sense?
Yes and no.
Oh, here we go. What? Okay.
Do you know you're sad right now?
Yeah. I've been sad for a while. This is like not how I thought my life would go in a lot of ways.
Yeah, because you get so angry all the time at yourself and at other people, and you kind of just like push people away, but it feels like it's really just because you're sad and you're not able to express sadness. So then you murdered random wizards outside, and I have to make you go to confession.
Yeah, I went to confession, by the way.
How'd it go?
It was awful.
That feels about right, especially if you're this sad.
It was garbage. Why would I want to do that again?
Well, because you're still
Because
sad.
I have to.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you have to do it. But because you need help, buddy. You're getting so mad and self-blamey and lashing out, and you got to be able to just like feel your sads and then find new joy once your sads resolve. Otherwise, you're just going to stay mad forever.
Goblin Jr. is staring so just daggers at you, Butthole, during this. And then he goes and finds a mirror and he just like nudges it up to you on the ground.
Oh, thank you. Quinny, look at yourself right now. He holds up the mirror.
Can you
to
roll a
Quinny.
dexterity save?
That is a dirty 20.
Goblin Jr. leaps at it, but you're used to keeping things out of a dog's
Yeah, I'm like,
way.
no, we're not playing with this right now. We'll play hammers later. Look at yourself, Quinny.
Goblin Jr. just shoots you a gym take. Quinny of just like, I tried.
Yeah, I get it.
Snarf.
Yeah, beast speech. I'm like, I hear it, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah, you're fine. Yes, I see me. Yes, I look at myself in the mirror every day. This does not happen by accident, Butthole. This look, okay?
I feel like you're looking at yourself, but you're not seeing yourself. You're seeing a persona.
Uh-huh. Can you bring the mirror a little closer?
Yeah, sure. Slides it closer.
Closer?
Yeah, sure. So that's a
Just
little closer.
right closer?
No, so you're going to start crossing your eyes soon, and then you're not going to see two of you, and that's a
Okay.
different metaphor.
And then I just kind of put my hands up on each side of the mirror and just like turn it, spin it like in your hand, the hand mirror, so that the reflection
is it
facing
reflective
you.
on the back?
It is, yeah. So you can look at this side, and I'll still see myself on this side.
I'll imagine you.
You look at you talking to me, and I'll look at
okay.
me listening to you. But you keep going and saying the things that you're saying.
Okay. Because you're trying to do better, you're a good dad. You didn't know you had a daughter, and that is stinky poo-poo. But you're doing the best you can, and you're protecting her, and you're protecting your parents, and you, Quinny. It's too bad you're sad, because you, Quinny, are the handsomest, bestest not son I could have. It feels weird saying these things to myself because they're really about you, but like, okay.
I feel like they could apply to you. How are you doing, by the way?
Well, good talk. All right, I'm going to leave. You can have this mirror as a memory of this conversation. Please be less sad.
Are you
Or
serious?
Stay the same amount of sad.
Are you serious right now
About what?
about leaving?
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to go. But it's
You're
a big enough
sleeping
tent.
here. This is the tent.
I need an opposed check here to see if you can actually trap Butthole in this. So, Butthole, this is probably I'd be inclined to say Constitution, but that's really more of a physical thing. I'm just trying to figure out like what
he's not wrestling
mental
with me.
resistance is. Quinny, I would take persuasion or honestly at this point intimidation. Not that you're physically threatening him, but that I can imagine a world where you just follow him around saying things.
I mean, my intimidation. Oh no, they're the same actually. But still, even if intimidation was higher, I feel like I'm coming from a place of persuasion. I'm not trying to be
enough.
like, talk to me or else.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so let's take persuasion from you, and Ryan, let's take an opposed deception check from you.
Deception? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I got a 7 on my persuasion.
And I got an 8.
Oh my God, we're both garbage, but you're still just edging me out.
Well, goodbye. He goes to the other end and puts a blanket over himself.
Yeah, and not Pete stocked this place with like the best blankets. So this is one of those beautiful like weighted blankets that's also soundproof somehow. It is fancy as fuck. Goblin Jr.'s just like, that's a fancy sad ghost.
Yeah, what are you going to do with him? Because I'm making no headway.
I'm playing fetch hammer. It's where he throws a hammer and I get it, and then I throw a hammer for him and he gets it.
Does he say anything to you? Does he talk to you?
We sit in companionable silence. I think he's...
I think he needs more than companionable silence.
Yeah, did you see that mirror trick I pulled? That's a pretty good trick. See that? Brought a mirror over. It was like, hey, that's you.
Yeah, he pointed it at me, though.
Yeah, I know. I don't have opposable thumbs. There's only so much I can do.
No, you alley-ooped it at best. I turned the mirror
Okay,
around.
all right. Well, it seems like you've got it on lockdown then. World's best dad.
Thanks, man's best friend.
I like our chats a lot.
Well, fuck you.
And he just like
Good night.
farts.
I like them too.
Yeah, he farts and
Piece of shit.
goes over and like gets under the blanket next to Butthole, like gets up on his lap in a large dog who thinks he's a small dog way, and not in like I'm here to comfort you, even though that's clearly what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's just this is my space now, and so he just kind of gets in there and sits down. And as the night sort of descends on the tent, the only sound is the scritching of a quill as Gartok continues to write down all the amazing things he's just heard for possible future inspirational speeches. I do have to ask, can Gartok write?
Yes.
Okay.
Gartok can write. And Gartok is reflecting too. It's like,
This might be challenging since I was willed into existence by a changeling in a moment of panic. Who is my father?
Jesus.
And with that, another daddy issue enters Dum-Dums and Dragons. You all spend a comfortable night in the glamping tent. Again, not Pete, spared no expense. You wake up feeling refreshed. You can refill all your HP. Lols. I guess, Quinny, you may have taken damage.
Took damage from being paralyzed and
that's right.
Not being polite while paralyzed.
Yeah, fair enough. Don't fuck with wizards. You all recover. You wake up the next day. I think in general, I'm probably going to keep track of the attempts to kind of break through to Butthole in this kind of ongoing existential crisis he's having. That said, that was a clear failure, so nothing changes on that tracker. So that just continues to linger in the air. It's a new morning. You awake to the smells of cooking outside. The troops are in fine form. They've struck the camp. There was no disturbances during the night. They do report seeing the shooting star as well as a bunch of other wildlife and things at distance, but nothing came near the camp. The fire seemed to keep things away. That said, Butthole, to your relief, they aren't approaching you in a buddy-buddy kind of way. There's a little bit of warmth to the tone of the camp and kind of people, bringing you your horse and that sort of thing. There's a bit more pep in their step, but it's not a situation where they're suddenly being buddy-buddy, pal-pal. Mm-hmm. We're all the same. At the end of the day, these are still, former Aka soldiers, and their baseline is absolutely nothing other than battle lust. So they're moving out of that, but they're in no way familiar with any of you. They're still very much treating you as the command. Similarly, Crendon has everyone ready to go. You're served up breakfast. Everyone's fed and watered, feeling good, and the caravan begins to move again. So you make your way across more of the beautiful desert landscape. It's very nice having fresh air kind of blowing over you, even if it is warm. It's just a treat to be out of the city. Obviously, a city in a fantasy medieval realm doesn't smell great all the time, particularly after a massive war and burning crops and everything else. So just being on the road with fresh air in your lungs is a real welcome relief from the cooped up situation you've been in previously. The Desert Mouth Mountains continue to kind of rise in the distance. It's a large, craggy, kind of almost brown rock mountain range. No snow capping the mountains. More just almost a I get these wrong. We fucked around with this a lot in Curse Code and Crown, but stalagmites.
Which way are they going?
From down up.
Stalagmites.
Stalagmites. Oh, so close. Stalagmites.
G for ground, C for ceiling.
Oh, I always go stalactites because they're holding on tight to the ceiling. Stalagmites because one day they might reach the ceiling.
Ryan, what's your
nice.
mnemonic?
I don't know either. I would have been you, Tom.
Hell yeah. All right. So
It must be a DM thing.
yeah, I remember Garrett Gygax talking about that all the time.
I know
back in
every
the day.
person who's in the fucking cave, but I don't know how the cave works.
Yeah, the real fantasy answer is you just make up a new name for them that is specific to the realm, so no one ever needs to worry about this again. Cool. So stalagmites, sort of that vibe a little bit, sticking up from the ground. They're imposing, but the local troops, and I think Butthole, you probably know this as well, just from being from this region, assure you that these mountains have been traversed so often that there are pathways through. It's a little bit like if you're traveling through the Rocky Mountains. There's a lot of roads and things and tunnels and everything else that have been blown out over the years that are incredible feats of engineering that, I don't know, personally, anytime I've gone through them, I'm just like, holy shit, I'm glad we didn't have to do that. So similarly, there are pathways and things you can take through the mountain range as you approach.
My physical geography brain is like, I don't think they're stalagmites. They'd technically be hoodoos.
Hoodoos? I don't know.
Believe
Hoodoos.
They're wind formed.
I think that's
If they're wind and sand
That's
blasted
fair.
formed.
I'm just saying that's what they look like, not that's what they are. They are mountains.
stalagmite mean like
Laura's helping.
yeah.
We're going to get into another pasta debate.
Yeah.
Is this where we're going?
Stalagmites might reach the ceiling, or they might be hoodoos. That's how you remember stalagmites.
Interesting. Okay. It's like they might be giants, but about hoodoos. I understand.
Yeah, if they're from the ceiling, they're called a you-do.
Oh, I see.
Because you know the answer from above.
And if
but
you
from
pay too
below, it's
much
a question mark.
and don't get too much, it's Hulu.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
Nailed it. Okay. So you make your way towards
Max.
mountains, just mountains, with pathways through.
Are you sure it's not a mesa in the
I don't know,
desert?
is Gordon Freeman hanging out there?
Do you know the difference between a mountain and just a large hill?
No, I've been lying this whole time.
It's just a spiky hill that we're going towards.
Pointy hills.
Pointy Hills. Yeah, that
on
was the original
horizon.
name.
Yeah.
And inside it doesn't have a tunnel. Technically, it's a long hole.
Yeah. A long hole. That's so funny.
We're learning so much today. This has been Atlas Chats here on Dum Dums and Dragons.
We're here to learn, is what
Yeah.
we're saying,
Yeah.
collectively.
Just gonna get nothing but geography-based NPCs from now
Travel
on.
through that long hole full of yoo-hoos.
Yeah.
Have a nice time.
Yeah, great. Okay, you approach the mountains and
We debate all of these things as characters. Gartok's giving us information about mountains that are not helpful.
Yeah.
Butthole's making up terms. And Quinny's learning things.
I guess.
And
If
Crendon
he's- if
just
he's listening.
Crendon continues to just say, "No, the mountains. We need to be on our." And meanwhile, I was just like talking about, but are they mountains? Is this? Great. So you approach the mountains.
Quinny's our audience insert that just wants us to keep traveling.
Please, can we just get there, please?
No, fast travel is behind a paywall. So you start to approach the mountains. They're now looming large ahead of you when one of the hammerers kind of points and says, "We've got movement on one of those peaks." And as you all turn, you see a small dark object crest one of the mountain peaks and begin to race down toward you.
I have a telescope.
Really?
I do. I just checked my inventory. I want to get a better look at what's going on here.
And you wanted to fast travel. All right, yep. Go ahead and roll me perception at advantage, please. What do your halfling eyes see?
Oh, nat 20.
Hell yeah.
My halfling eyes see all. I do the cartoon thing where like my eyeball goes through the telescope and like comes out the large lens.
That's what that magic eye will do. All right. You see two winged shapes. It looks like one at distance, but using the telescope, you can actually see it's two. Carrying between them a sort of doing that shoulder carry thing that happens in fantasy a lot. It's also what the winged monkeys did in Wizard of Oz, but basically like there's a large creature suspended between them holding a club in each hand. And these two large winged creatures have just a variety of faces on them. They are creatures of many faces, but specifically, you've got the goat, the dragon, and the lion. You recognize two chimeras holding a large creature between them, and they are swooping quickly towards the caravan.
Okay, yeah, citing that, and you say chimera. I guess I would know a chimera to see one with the temple we were in of the tomb rather we were in with Dr. I can't remember his name.
Dr. Moreau?
Thank you, Dr. Moreau. Of course it's Dr. Moreau, geez. With his sort of like scientifically engineered chimeras.
But Quinny, you weren't there for that. You were with.
I was in.
He was there for the back.
I was
half
in
of
the
that journey
tomb
because he joined in the.
That's right.
I like busted us in. I like picked the lock and got us in there and fought the goddamn Franken shark, shark and bear.
Shark and bear. Yep.
Freaking very,
Okay, so I would then be able to know and call out chimeras. Would you say?
Yes,
Or,
I think so. Also, realistically, during your stint in Hell, like these would be common enough creatures in the various wars in.
Okay,
Avernus,
so I would know like chimeras are like hellish.
I mean they're natural monsters, but they would just they're a favorite mount of hell creatures because 3 heads
better than
badass. Yeah, exactly. Especially that goat head. Everyone loves the fucking goat head, the most valuable of all heads. So yes, you'd be able to call these
two chimeras carrying some larger creature in the middle.
You've got a close enough I think eye on it to recognize what looks to be a hill giant.
Ooh.
Okay, chimeras plus hill giant.
The giant's got like similar to your sort of desert goggles again because you've got like a clear view.
I do, yeah.
Has goggles on over the eyes. Mouth is wide in what you can't quite hear yet, but definitely looks like a joyous grin.
Okay.
A little bit of a witness me vibe going on. Dressed for battle in kind of very toughened leather armor. And just a wicked looking club in each hand, arms outstretched, and you recognize this as the like battle lust joy. Like you've seen this before. This is like I am excited to get to fuck some shit up kind of look.
Well, I am like calling all of this out as I see it, and loudly I would say because I would want our Akkad Desert locals to maybe know this to give us any additional insight before this thing arrives because it seems like we're gonna have to defend ourselves, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. So just like Quinny with the telescope kind of glued to his eyes, he's trying to follow this thing as it soars through the sky, just saying like, okay, everyone, just heads up, we got two chimeras carrying a hill giant. He's armed. They're coming straight at us. Does anyone know what this is about, or do we need to take care of business?
They're just pulling out hammers and dropping into kind of a rough formation. You note that a few of them carry other weapons as well. Given that they just began their hammer training, none of them is going to rely on only swinging a hammer to be able to deal with this. But no, one of the hammerers who over the course of your evening you've come to know as Steely Knife Jack. Steps forward and he's just a really rough looking gnome. Who's seen some shit, just craggy as hell. He's got like a big scraggly beard, and he's holding the hammer in his offhand, and he's got a reverse grip dagger in his good hand, as per his name. And he just steps forward and says, "We've heard reports of a band known as the Wingnuts that live in the mountains. They operate generally far south from here, and yet here one is. They, pardon my language, but live for this shit. We should prepare to fight."
All right. But I like because we're with a group of all these people, Quinny's trying to find the right like rhetoric to use here in public of like, your Majesty, my liege, looks like this is not, the welcoming committee for some foreign state. This is he's going to kill us.
All right, then it's time to throw down. So we're going to keep this pretty easy. Tip of the spear will be us. Me, Quinny, Gartok. The rest of you, spread back. We're going to let them hit us, kind of coming in. We'll stop them with some magic. Then everybody just swoop in and play the flanks. This is going to be big. This is going to be ugly. This is going to be dumb. Let's try to make it fast.
Yeah, remember, it's not one thing flying at us. It's 3. And 2 of them have 3 heads each.
And the Butthole, what would the Aka equivalent of hua be? But it occurs to me that you may have given them something else as hammers. Have you given them like a battle cry or like a battle acknowledgement? This might actually be a Reginald question.
Yeah,
would Reginald have
it's
given
more
them...
a Reginald and Bismuth question. Tom, what was the battle cry they would have already known?
I will flip that back to you. What is the battle cry of
Okay,
Aka?
I got to do both. All right. He's not a god, so that wouldn't carry over. Okay, this is dumb, but it's right. Reginald only knows the term peacekeepers and that their job is to maintain the peace. He didn't have time to ask a lot of questions, but he knew they needed a catchphrase. So the new catchphrase of the Hammers is, for peace!
Great.
So they get out their weapons and are ready to kill people for peace.
Yeah. So just as one, they like tap the hammer on the ground and yell, "For peace!" And then immediately like start screaming battle cries and just like yelling like obscenities. It's very Spartan, where it's just like, we're gonna scream into the face of these three monsters as they fall back into the position you offered. This is the first time the three of you have heard "for peace" yelled.
Butthole's like, that's kind of nice.
Chief
Do they
Justice?
also have like a shitty like upside down dove drawn on their weapons?
No, that's not the joke we're making.
Yet.
They're peacekeepers, not peacemakers. Don't pretend
That's an
it's
important difference. It's a very important difference.
Yep. Great. So they fall back. These three creatures continue to swoop down towards you. So the first round of this is interesting because technically it's not a surprise round. I guess, you know what? Let's just straight up roll initiative because I'm
Right.
curious to see what goes off and when.
6.
6.
18.
Okay, 1 sec.
Gartok hasn't done much combat.
6. Quinny 18.
Okay, a random, obnoxious question.
Yes, sir.
If they're coming towards us at range and we have stuff that is at an extreme range, do they also for initiative, or would we be acting before them in initiative if their initiative requires them to like charge into us? Some of us have spells that got like 150 feet on them.
Okay. So yes, I should clarify. If you have a spell that's 150 feet, you can take an action before they arrive. They also have ranged shit, which is part of the reason why
which makes
I was
sense.
rolling, but it's not extreme range. So if you've got extreme range, go banana.
All righty. So I will roll my initiative so we can add it to the order.
Yep.
It's a 5, so thank you, long range. At extreme range, as he sees them coming in 150 feet away, Butthole summons up from inside himself and just says, "Hot Python!" And he is going to cast Firestorm, which is instead of the usual hot snakes from the ground.
Yeah.
This is a just massive butthole opening in the ground of dirt, and just fire comes up and out of it in the same classic hot snakes way. This is a new spell, Tom. We haven't had to use this one before. It
God, level
takes place
7?
over
Jeez.
150 feet. A storm made up of sheets of roaring flame appears in a location you choose within range. The area of the storm consists of up to 10 10-foot cubes, which you can arrange as you wish. He's going to arrange them into a peace sign to make sure that all of the attackers are there because he wants to inspire the forces around him. Each cube must have at least one face adjacent to the face of another cube, so it's fine. It's just flavor at that point. They have a dex saving throw that all three of them can make. It will be DC 18.
Okay. Well, the hill giant has a -1, so he rolled an 18, but it doesn't fucking matter. The two chimeras fail.
Okay.
Would it matter since he's being carried by the chimeras?
He could like tuck his little leggies up.
Yeah, like he could he could bail out.
wiggle.
Like you could
Yeah,
jump out
he
of
can
something
bail
if you
out.
need to.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not a train that he's just committed to being on.
Holy shit, dude.
Jeez, I'm seeing those rolls.
Those are good rolls on D10s.
Hell yeah.
There we go. They balance themselves out.
Yeah.
Those
Oh,
last
yeah.
three. They will all take 43 fire damage. And the object will ignite any flammable objects that aren't being worn or carried. But I think in that place, that eliminates everything because it's either being worn or carried by someone. So they just take the damage.
And sorry, 43?
9, 18, 27, 35, 39, 40. Yep, 43 fire damage.
God damn. So yeah, just a like descending down. Hill Giant's got his clubs out, just muttering to himself, "Oh, what a lovely day!" And then suddenly, just a line of fire,
God.
and just oh tits, and they just fly directly into this massive swirling shitstorm of flame. The chimeras are screaming in a variety of tongues. You hear lots of like. And a lot of like, and a lot of I'm the dragons as they just eat absolute shit from that coming in. That is a hell of a lot of damage. They're all still up, but like, owie. Anyone else have super long range shit you want to throw at these guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it coming.
They really should have snuck up on us.
You want to go for? You had higher initiative. You wanna go
Mine
for?
is a shorter range band of 120 feet. So I can, if yours is further out, you can go first.
Oh, okay, mine's 300. So
Oh, okay. So technically mine went second. All right. What are you doing? or is Gartok waiting to make me feel good about myself because Gartok's inspirational?
Yeah, well, Gartok isn't. He's not quite sure like what to do. He's
he's just
following.
learning.
He's going to follow the King Dad. I don't know.
King Dad.
King Dad.
King Daddy Butthole.
Butthole's nightmare is coming true.
So Gartok sees this like flaming. What was it?
Flaming peace sign.
Flame-
Just blast into
flaming
this place,
peace sign.
burning the shit out of these enemies.
And sees the creatures kind of become distracted and disoriented by it and hurt, and immediately in the next basically area they're going to enter as they're all like disoriented, an ice storm is going to appear in the sky as Gartok draws on the whatever little moisture there is in the air
And yells, "Oh, storm of ice, protect us!"
and a hail of rock hard ice pounds to the ground in a 20-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder centered on a point within range. Centered on a point just beyond that piece. That
Yeah, the
peace sign.
fire isn't instantaneous anyway, so it's not sticking around.
Cool.
It spins up and it's gone.
Cool. So each creature in the cylinder must make a dex saving throw DC 16.
More decks, great, love that.
It's always good for the palanquin bearers.
Yeah. Oh my god! I rolled a 6 and then 2 7s. The chimeras are both rolling 7s, which is like friendship.
Matchy.
You know what? It's equally. That's good. That shows that they balance the weight of the hill giant in like a really fair way.
I'm waiting for them to try and dodge in opposing directions and just rip this hill giant's arms off.
Though we are going to have to watch out because those chimeras are equally strong and know how to effectively work as a team. So like if they get through this, we're fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a big if at this point.
So as rock hard ice pounds upon them, they will take 12 bludgeoning damage and 14 cold damage.
Oh my god!
So 26 damage total.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Also, the area below them is now difficult terrain for the next.
That's right. They're flying past that area pretty quickly, but still.
Just in case anyone's coming up behind them on the ground.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Great. Having a great day. Hill Giant is just like on fire. His goggles are melting. He kind of has to like rub, melted glass and leather off his face. His beard is burned away. His eyebrows are all frizzy. And he says, "Don't worry, my pets, nothing worse than that." And then just immediately pummeled by ice. He just mutters like, "Oh, Ron should have read the weather reports this morning," as he's just pelted by ice, desperately missing his goggles. And the chimeras are just like livid. The two dragons start to spit flame, but it's just like ice. It's like spitting fire into rain. It just doesn't matter. They're still getting pelted. Massive damage to all of them. And he says, "Well, at least that's the worst of it, my pets." Quinny, what do you?
Yeah, they close to
what do you
120
do?
feet.
Yeah. I would like to hit him with nothing fancy here, but an Eldritch Blast.
What?
And because it's got a range of 120 feet, and I picked up a tasty little invocation called Repelling Blast a while ago that I've just had so much fun using. I would like to basically push two targets back into the hailstorm.
It's an instantaneous
Oh,
spell.
I thought it was ongoing.
So it's,
Okay.
No, so it is just going to fall down on them.
Okay.
Maybe push them back into that difficult terrain.
I was going to say, if you can
Unfortunately.
knock them to the ground, they're going to have trouble running.
That's What,
I got some other shit that keeps working to this range, baby, so like, keep them there.
Maybe I'll try and separate them then, because I can't hit all three, but I can fire it twice.
Move them in a peace sign.
So I should
who
call
are you
out
targeting?
I should call my targets out first. I think probably 2 Eldritch Blasts, 1 on each Chimera.
Yep.
Because if I hit them both, they're carrying the third guy. So hopefully this works out. Eldritch Blast is +8 to hit. So 25.
Yep.
And +8, my brain, 14?
14.
Yeah, 14 to hit on the second one.
Meets the AC of the Chimera.
Ooh, good to know. Okay. And that's, again, not like the kind of damage we've seen from these two stellar superstars, but 1d10 per hit. So 1d10. Oh, 10. And 6 on the second one.
Nice.
Yep. Great.
And how far back are they both blasted?
10 feet. They're both pushed back 10 feet.
Okay, so let's roll.
It's always great sitting on top of a car when it moves backwards 10 feet.
I'm going to
suddenly.
roll dex saves on both the Chimeras to see if they hold on. So one does. No, that one gets a nat 20. They hold on to this guy hard, but I'm going to roll a con save for him for being jerked back by the arms real quick. He rolls a 2, so we're going to give him an additional 6 points of damage from whiplash.
I'll take it.
No joke.
No, yeah.
And yeah, it's just almost a comical, it's like they slam into an invisible wall. Just the blast hit them, knock them back. And he's just hanging there going, okay, all right. Now we swoop, my pets. I have initiative order. We will destroy them. And they continue to fly towards you at speed. Of course, their fly speed is 60 feet, so you still
perfect.
got a little bit of time.
Witness me. Are you witnessing?
They are.
You guys see me still? You see me going?
Ron will pay when
You
we get
witness-
back to camp.
You guys watching? It's gonna happen soon.
If they keep doing
Oh,
this,
my arms.
stop looking at me so much. Look over there for a bit.
I'll tell you when to witness again.
All right. And Butthole looks at them as they close within 60 feet. And he says, hot snakes! And he is going to open a portal under the ground of them. A smaller, more focused Butthole appears in the ground.
This is all evoking Dune for me now because we're in the desert and the sphincters are opening in the
Yeah,
sand.
100%. This one's spraying fire and radiant energy because we know we see more gold in Butthole's magic. This one's a mix of both. So each creature in a 10-foot radius, which I'm imagining is all of them.
Yeah.
They've gone from a peace sign to a 40-foot high cylinder of fire and radiant energy spraying out of the desert. Can you roll them a DC 18 dexterity saving throw?
So many deck saves.
No.
All right. Meh. Quinny, a phrase you can always say to your warlock friend. Can I borrow some D6s?
Well, actually, because we're using
Because we're using those dice.
I don't have my extra D6s. Yeah.
3, 4. Okay, I
Have mine. I don't think I need to roll any fucking damage for these guys, so it's good.
I'm going to save that one. So, all right. So first we go for the fire damage. 15 fire damage. Mm-hmm. And then the lowest performing dice gets replaced by the DM die for the radiant damage. Keep doing great, guys. Oh, there we go. Ooh. And that is 20 radiant damage.
So just, we're almost there. Witness. Move. And then just a conflagration of hot snakes. And for a moment, the hill giant feels the relief of, if any, this is a very Canadian thing, but, jumping out of a hot tub, like into the snow, and you roll around in the snow, and you hop back in the hot tub, and your body feels braced and energized.
Yeah.
And he just thinks to himself, well, you know what? Maybe this is a lovely day, as he is incinerated alongside the two chimeras. And so just standing there, 6 skulls, a dragon skull, 2 dragon skulls, 2 ram skulls, 2 lion skulls, just fly out of the flame on the trajectory and just kind of bounce and tumble along the ground to your feet, scorched and smoking.
And Butthole looks back to the rest of the troops that he brought with him and he says, "Peace maintained."
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at Hamstring on Twitter, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum-Dums and Dragons artwork is by Del Borovic, who can be found at delborovic.com. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christopher Little, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Flynn1138, Alarain Okapi, Schrodinger's Pepper, Guy Edwards, Madre de Gatos, Lady Maiden, Garbo Ape, Locke, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dagger Rain, Rob L, Dia de los Hoodless, Squishy Werewolf, Remy Funky Head, Nomad, the Wise Paladin of the Badlands, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, Shulzari, The Long Family, Jordan Oliver, Richard Wright, Brittany Fenwick, Alex Parr, Old Man Mojo, Dragonfly, The Body Barrelers, Megan Werner, A Man Out of Time, Curtis at FingerTechRobotics.com, Panda24NN, Shendra D, Your Homeboy Bones, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.